going to show you something now that Sir Keir Starmer and the Home Office don't want you to see. As you know, I went to Calais a few weeks ago and exposed just how bad the problem really is. And I stand before you today, currently stood in the middle of an illegal migrant warehouse full of young Sudanese brents. You will see an overhanging warehouse full of more Sudanese men. All of these people are on their way to Britain. Since then, I've been doing my best to expose the illegal migrant gangs, showing how easy it is to get their personal information, their locations, and, if the authorities really wanted to, get them nicked.
Hello, my friend, how are you? My friend, you must tomorrow come here in Cali, and after tomorrow we go, inshallah. Okay? You must tomorrow to come here the morning.
We have handed over the details of several human traffickers. Now, Labour wants you to believe everyone coming over in those boats is a vulnerable woman and child.
And when you see that the majority of the people in these boats are children, babies and women who have been...
No, they're not.
Well, today, the situation has escalated massively, and I am pleading with the National Crime Agency, Sir Keir Starmer and Yvette Cooper to step in and do something. I think that they need to see this, and I think that you deserve to know the truth. I received this video from a human trafficker. That gun appears to be an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle. Specifically, I think it looks a lot like this gun. It's a Hatsan Escort tactical shotgun, and if you look as well, it appears on that casing that you'll see behind the weapon there, it appears to have the word Escort written on it. Now, AR-15s are commonly used in American mass shootings, and the Washington Post says that AR-15 fires bullets at such a high velocity, often in a barrage of 30 or even 100 in rapid succession, that it can eviscerate multiple people in seconds. The Smugglers TikTok page shows people coming across in the back of lorries. It also shows him bringing people over in boats. Yeah, that is, for the record, by the way, another lorry, but there are boat clips on his TikTok as well. And I know that he has been organising crossings from this precise location in the last few days. So I have had confirmation that he is organising boat crossings from that exact location, OK? What is there to stop him bringing that across the channel, that semi-automatic rifle, or arming other illegal migrants with it? Now, we have handed, yet again, all our information and evidence to the authorities. And I'm begging them, please act on it. Let's get the thoughts of my panel. We've got former Tory MP Anna Firth. We have Tory peer Lord Bailey and Labour Party advisor Chris Worrell. Anna, I'll start with you. I mean, this guy is armed to the teeth. He will by no means be the only one. He's getting everyone else into Britain. This is a major threat, is it not?
Of course it is. And I can't believe that you haven't had a response, and I can't believe the National Crime Agency are not taking action. I mean, anybody arriving on our shores with a weapon like that is an aggressive act. That's, you know, this is way beyond people just coming here illegally. I mean, that is an invasion. That is somebody who threatens us. There's no other reason to have a weapon like that. Of course, we don't know for sure that they're bringing those weapons across, but why are they sending you photos of these weapons? What this shows categorically and beyond any shadow of doubt is that Keir Starmer has completely lost control of this issue. He said, he was going to smash the gangs. All he's done, as we all know, is smash records. We now know that in the first 5 months, we've had double the number since last year. Record numbers are coming, and he's not getting a grip on this.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, one of the things the Conservatives were doing was going upstream and actually trying to arrest people. And in fact, they arrested 1,300 people and gave them sentences worth over 1,000 years.
Yeah, I mean, fundamentally, it still wasn't good enough, to be fair, Anna. But I don't know if we might be able to bring up the pictures of that weapon again, if that's possible, if we can bring it up. So there it is, all right. This guy has that, and presumably others as well. Sean... this is a disaster waiting to happen, isn't it? How can the government or the National Crime Agency look British citizens in the eye and say that they have, at this moment in time, not done anything about this?
Look, to be fair, anybody who's surprised by this picture needs to understand that smuggling people is akin to drug dealing. And drug dealers love our weapons. Of course, people smugglers going to have a weapon. They're meeting people, they're exchanging large amounts of cash. Of course they have weapons. This is of no surprise to me. I take you back to something I said more than 2 years ago on the show. You will never smash in these gangs unless you have a strong relationship with the government and the police from the country of origin. We simply don't have that. So Keir Starmer's idea of smashing the gangs is an absolute fantasy. That's the first piece. The second piece is you do not need a weapon to be dangerous to British citizens. We already have that. People are here, we don't know who they are, and we're not keeping track of them. That in and of itself is dangerous. I'd argue probably more dangerous than that weapon. The point is we need now to get past this idea. That's why Rwanda was important, because what Rwanda was doing, it was sending a message to the people smugglers that you could end up in Rwanda. Now that that's not there, the gates are open as far as they're concerned.
What we've managed to do here, I'll put this to you, Chris, is demonstrate who these people are, what their contact details are, their last known locations, and the fact that they're advertising, they're even still advertising and giving us locations for trips tomorrow, the fact that they appear to be armed to the teeth with semi-automatic rifles that you can go on mass killing sprees with, and there is nothing that seems at the moment to be stopping them bringing that into Britain. Would you not expect the authorities to be doing a bit more about this?
Well, look, I think if that was on a UK shore and you provided them with those details, they'd be acting on it immediately. The fact is in France, we've got to respect their borders, and they're not respecting ours. But the bottom line is that until this border security bill comes through, and it's gone through legislative scrutiny bill in the House of Lords today, it should be coming through for royal assent soon, at which point the Border Security Command will be established. All of these new ways in which they can tackle the gangs, whether it's...
Why can't the SAS just slot it?
Hold on a second.
Sorry, hang on a minute. So we've got a bloke there who appears to have a semi-automatic rifle, and I'm basically telling you where he is. Why can't the SAS just go and take him out?
They can't because he's on foreign soil.
So what?
But here's the point. Aren't we paying the French to do that? The French could be doing it. So I would send your video to the French, who we are paying for this service. So let's be here, he's correct. You can't just send the SAS to France. That isn't how the world works. But you can send the French police to France.
I
would send your video to MI6. That is our secret service for dealing with problems overseas. These criminal gangs are invading our shores. Where is James Bond when you need him? I mean, literally, where is he?
Again, one more time, for the reality people, you cannot just send the British Armed Forces to France.
Are you saying that we never slot anyone abroad?
I didn't say the armed forces.
I
said,
really?
what are MI6 doing?
That would roughly be the same thing.
And those... just imagine the situation on the beach. There's the gang masters or whoever they are with AK-47s or AK-15s, whatever they are, and you've got gendarmes there. Who is going to win that battle?
The French police are armed. They have weapons.
They are not doing enough. And what we should be doing is actually deploying the army.
The
army
point,
and the Navy.
We cannot deploy our army on French soil. Let's get that point clear. We can't. Don't say it again. It's impossible.
I didn't say that, Sean. I didn't say on our... I said on our shores. They should be on our shores.
We are paying the French for something, and that something should be intervening.
Yes.
Yeah. Right there with those people with weapons on that
when
side.
When Norman the Conqueror came over to these shores, he came with 7,000 people.
Yes.
And now they're coming with 15,000 in the first 5 months.
The thing that I would
we should be
just
taking
say
some
is,
action.
look, OK, fine.
William the
I know,
Conqueror.
I personally... Yes, actually, well, fair enough. He was a Norman, though, wasn't he, to be fair? That washed over me at the time. So I think you got away with that. My point is it's about the level of potential risk, Chris, OK? What more do we have to do to prove that at any moment in time, some absolute madman with an AR-15 could, by the looks of it, wander into Britain? And he very easily could, because he's getting everyone else into Britain. He is a human trafficker, OK? So we have to do so. Keir Starmer, it doesn't seem to be kept awake at night by this. The British public, I think, will be watching this now and they'll be very, very worried about it.
Patrick, he's focused on the exact same thing you focused on, which is smashing the gangs, targeting the people smugglers. Well, you've got to... he's...
You know what the NCA said to us today, Chris? Sorry,
what did they say to you?
They said, we have nothing to comment on this. The National Crime Agency, I've sent them a video of a bloke with a semi-automatic rifle who's funneling people into Britain, and they didn't bother to give us a comment on it.
There would be procedures where they would be liaising with the French authorities and they should be passing that information on, and it should be acted on in realistic terms in about 1 or 2 weeks, which is far too long. But back to the point, the border security bill, and we know that we've got this issue because we can't just deport them back to where they came from because of Brexit. We've been through that enough times before because we haven't got a deportation agreement. But what they're doing is they're going to be bringing in a lot more laws that are going to be working cross-party with the Border Security Command. There's Dunkirk detention centres coming through. And once bill's gone through, then that's when we should start seeing the ability to smash the gangs.
I sat in the Lords today and listened to that debate. It's a very good debate. You're largely right. There is some... But the problem is, I perceive, is that some of my colleagues in the Lords don't seem to understand just how cheeky and ruthless criminals are. There was a big debate around building a bill about who had to prove if they were guilty or not of having the tools to smuggle people across. And I dread to think we'll come down on a soft side of that.
It looks that way.
We've got to come down on a tough side to give the police...
Do people have to die? This is what I don't want. Sorry, but I think we are currently waiting for an absolutely devastating situation to happen where someone like that, with a weapon like that, comes across the channel and opens fire on people and kills a load of British citizens. And what I'm saying is I don't want to have to wait for that to happen. From what I'm seeing from our authorities, they are just going to wait for it.
The time for more legislation, frankly, is over. The Labour Party repealed all the legislation that the Tories put forward. The Illegal Migration Act, which removed the path to citizenship. The safety of Rwanda.
The Labour Party removed the path to citizenship. Yours just criminalised them. That's the key difference. That is the deterrent. And what we're seeing now...
The deterrent was Rwanda, Chris, and your party removed that before it had even started.
The Rwanda plan was a non-starter.
So, number one, we have to have a deterrent. People will continue to come if there isn't a deterrent. Number two, the rate of granting asylum in the country is far too high. 61% are granted, compared with about 40% on the continent. And then number three, to your point, Patrick, the time for talking is over. We should be taking action against people who are arriving on our shores. If they have any sort of a firearm like that, they should simply be arrested straight away.
We can't return them to where they came from since the Brexit.
Some of them we can.
Sad we can't
some of them we
can't do it to France.
Some of the countries we have returned.
We put it in the Human Rights Act.
We don't want them to go to France.
Well, that's where they came from. They come from France. We used to go to send them back.
I wouldn't take any notice.
Now we can't do that.
We're paying the French enough money. They should have them back.
Well, look. You know, I obviously we all do. We really hope nothing ever happens. But I can't believe that. You know, I'm in a position here where I say I don't know what more that myself and other people here at GBNews could have done to try to prevent something, because I do think there's an air of inevitability about it. Yeah, we've given them like loads of different smuggling gangs details now. We've given them to
MI6.
them. We've given them precise locations of where they are. We've told them everything, right? And we've shown them videos of a bloke with a semi-automatic gun there and a location of where he said he was earlier on in the week. What more can we do? What more can we do? Anyway, we're going to have to whiz ourselves on now.